For real now. All right, so we are back, and here we're creating another YouTube video for implementing jump. So here's what we've got so far. We can have our player run, and currently, because we don't have jump, the player just falls off the edge as soon as we hit a gap. Not necessarily the most riveting of gameplay, because jumping is kind of something that would be important. So let's go ahead and start doing that. In game data, we have a jump force in here. Now, what I want to do is figure out how we're going to implement that jump. In the main game, I think we have a key pressed here. So we're probably going to want some key press to track if it's like a jump command is being done. And maybe that could be an event. Or we could handle that in our draw here. So when we do our grid, we can figure out, okay, you pressed the space button. I'm not going to implement the ability to change the keys for this. I don't think we necessarily need to do that. And I don't necessarily think that we need to do the full command pattern. But we want the player to be aware of if they're attempting to jump. And in a way, we could do a command. We could do one command, which is, I guess it could just be, we can use the same object that we use down here. We could basically just do, these are functions. Let's go up to the top. We can do const commands, and then we'll just have jump is jump. That's all we really care about. I'm not necessarily going to worry about binding jump to space or something. Let's just assume jump is space. That's what it is in almost every game that I play. And I'm not necessarily going for super realistic, we're gonna sell this game. So when the key is pressed, if the key code is space, and we're playing, okay, so if the key code is space and we are playing, then we probably want to have an event, and then notify whoever cares that we press the jump event. So let's do let jump event. And then down here, we can do jump event dot notify, and that's it. We're just gonna notify whoever cares about that we're attempting to jump. Now the player can choose whether or not we're going to allow us to jump at that time, but it's not an issue. So let's go ahead and go into our, it's gonna be our physics modules is going to care about this the most, specifically our player physics. So we're going to call this the jump event, and we're going to register a method for a jump event. Let's call this handle jump event. Okay, so we register that listener. Now we need to add the jump event into the player physics. when they come in. All right, and so we shouldn't have any crashes anymore due to that. And then when the jump event happens, what do we really care about here? We want to check to see if we are jumping. If we are jumping, then we don't want to jump anymore. And if we're not jumping, we do want to jump. So what does that really mean for us? I guess like right now, if we handle jump event and I don't really care about anything else, I want to say this dot velocity. So this dot velocity dot y minus equals to game data. I think it's jump force. Jump force. So if I do just that and I don't change anything else, that causes an error. Can access property bind the set jump event is undefined. Line 25. Okay, so jump event. Oh, that's because I called it handle jump event. Oh, well, that's not fun. Space is not defined. Wait, really? I thought that was a global here. Also, we need to get rid of this console log. That's in the physics modules, line 34. Okay, so for reference, where I think events. Oh, okay, so they don't have that one there. Is it literally 32? Okay, so I need to set this ourselves. Okay, there we go. We got a nice little jump. That's maybe a little bit too far. I was able to get across the chasm with that. Like, so, I mean, that's, who needs more than that? So we need probably a little bit bigger of a jump force. It's like, make it 50. Let's see what this does. Really? That doesn't seem good enough. I don't need anything huge like that, right? Did I refresh? Is that a problem? Ooh, that might have been a problem. Can't access property 4. This dot cells y-index is undefined. I teleported off the top of the map. That's what happened. So a little bit too high. Let's do 10. There we go. That's a little bit better. I still need to... A little bit too much jump, man. Yeah. I need to make you jump a little bit higher. Let's do something like 25. Okay, that's a little bit too high. How about like 15? Okay, that's pretty good. Now, here's where we get to start being a little bit interesting and playing around with the game data by itself. Because we can take our gravity force and play with this and say, you know what if we cut gravity in half, but we don't cut the jump force in half. We bring this down to 10. What is this going to end up looking like? I mean, not bad. I certainly don't have this lined up in a way that makes it look good. If I do something like floor, let's give ourselves some more room with this. Oh man, this is... this initial location of the spike is really hard to deal with. I should probably just move this spike. Let's do that. We'll make that easier. So move the spike. Let's make you a floor. All right, with this, it actually is, it actually works. All right. I do need a level string so it's easier to edit. Yeah, no, I was thinking that this would not be too hard to build a simple web page that just has like, 500, 1,000 little blocks, and I could just use a table for it, or I could use, divs, and then you can just fill them in and just say, here's where we want to be, and that will just extend off into the distance. And that would be really nice because it just gives ourselves a spike for that. Or I could switch over to using symbols like that. Yeah, I could do that too. Block open. Yeah, either of those works. Any of those things I think definitely works. Oh, I need to actually remember to jump. That one is a little bit hard. Let's see, I think we can put a spike here on this first one. So we have floor, space. Let's put a spike right here. I do have it auto advancing, yes. So that's like a spike where you kind of need it anyways. You don't need to avoid it. You want to avoid it anyways because you want to jump before you get there. We could have the auto, like, where is it? This player speed is 4. We can make this like 6. And it's now a lot harder. But still playable. Still going with that. Yes, we are having, like, it's a runner, but it's not an infinite run anymore. There's now like an end, sort of like an end thing. Harder finishes in one try. Yeah, that's true. Okay, so if I were to create, let's see, what would I make this look like? Well, although let's actually, I think I have a problem here. I can just jump off the edge. I can fly. And the reason for that is because I'm not actually checking to see if I'm in there. And like there, yeah. It's a minor little problem. We need to make sure that we're only jumping if we're in the air. Or no, if we're on the ground. So let's go ahead in our physics module. This dot is jumping equals to begin. So we start with false. Now, if we begin jumping, so handle jump event, we're going to say here, double jump could be cool though. Yeah, no, I can see that. Although that might be a half power second jump. There's so many different things we could do for this. I don't think I'm going to implement that for this game, but if I do like an actual, like think Celeste, sort of like a game like that, that could be, we do a jump and then a dash. Like there's so many different things you can do about that. Just enough to pull you out of the fire when you're a little bit off. Yeah, no, I totally agree with that. There's a lot of cool things that we can do. Let's see, so if this dot is jumping, so if not is jumping, then we add this velocity, and then we're going to say this dot is jumping equals true. And then when we land back down again, okay, so here's this is colliding with, here we're colliding with the floor here. And this is the y. So if the location y of this one, so this was the x, this is the y velocity, and now we can say this dot is jumping equals false. So I believe just with this change, I can only jump when I'm on the ground now. It's impossible for me to jump multiple times and fly, which is good. I mean, it makes it harder, but that's kind of the point. But okay, so we now have, like, jump is implemented. So that's really cool. That kind of ends the game for us. We don't have any more things to sort of like deal with actually making the game from the engine perspective. And that's our MVP. So like, Barry, you're talking about like adding the second jump and some other things. I would say that that's not necessarily part of the MVP. But it is something cool that we can implement for like future games, definitely. So I'm going to go ahead and